We are back talking about the stock picks for the NSE in September. So far, we have Safaricom at a price of 32.3 shillings. We also have KCB at 52.7 shillings. And now we are looking at Coop Bank as well, 14.14 shillings. Just before we took a break, we are looking at East African breweries. And this counter is actually under review. Elizabeth Wangechi is the head of research at NIC Securities, and she's taking us through her top picks. Elizabeth, just before we went to the break, I know we're discussing EABL. Management has done a fantastic job with regards to enhancing the operational efficiencies of this company, and there's a new plant in Kisumu. So I'm looking at the current dividend yield of 4.34%. And the last price is about 196 to 198. Elizabeth, for anybody who drinks a beer, any day, when you go sit, and I think the lowest price I have seen is about 200. If you can afford to drink a beer, you can afford to buy the share. You can afford to buy the share.
That's what you're saying.
Exactly, because the minimum is, what is the minimum? What do you think people are not buying shares?
Minimum is 100.
Minimum is 100
shares.
So with 1,000 shillings, I should be able to use my security account. Can I trade online?
You can trade online through your phone.
All right.
You just need to put the money via M-Pesa. And then you can be able to just place your order.
So I hope everybody is listening. If you drink, if you consume any alcohol, you have no reason, if nothing, to be owning East African breweries, because at a bare minimum, you do get a dividend yield of about 4 to 5%. And there's also the element of the upside.
The upside potential and the dividend.
Okay. But the people who are drinking out there, if you're a drinker. All right, let's move on to the next counter. This is Barclays Bank. We were just talking about this earlier on. There's been a huge trade that has gone through 23 million shares. A local buyer. What are they chasing? What is it that they're seeing in this stock?
There's a lot happening in Barclays. First of all, just looking at the dividend yield at 10%. The average banking industry yield is about 5%. So that shows you it's one of the best paying company in terms of the dividends. The other thing they're looking at is what Barclays has been trying to do on the retail space. So we've seen a lot of product, they're coming up with new products. The other thing is they're also trying to diversify their income. So you've seen them now trying to grow the NFI, which they were a bit
NFI, that's
the non-funded income.
And this is what they get from the mobile.
From the mobile lending.
And also the new products. I think there's they have a lending product, a savings product, and a lending product.
Yeah, so there's that now, just shift more focus on the retail. I think where the money is.
That's where them,
Yeah. And also now the fact that they're now looking at the NFI, that is the non-funded income, is a plus for them. Yeah, so also the NPLs, they've been a bit stable. So this is the non-performing loans. At 7.9% ratio as at half year 2019.
Where's the industry at?
At 12%.
Okay, so 7.9%, it's very good.
It's fairly okay.
Okay, it's fairly okay. Okay, so this particular stock has a dividend yield of 10%. Like they have been paying 1 shilling, and so you're comparing 1 shilling to a price of 11 to get a dividend yield of 10%. Can they sustain this, Elizabeth?
I think they can sustain that, even though the expectation is just probably to maintain the dividend at where it is. It's sustainable.
Okay. So then what you're saying is at 10%, it's a good buy. It's a good buy if that's the return that you're getting, as long as they keep paying the 1 shilling.
As long as they keep paying the 1 shilling.
And I like it, because what you're saying is this is a defensive strategy, because even though the price goes down, you're actually getting a better return. So if the price goes down maybe below 11 to 10 to 9 shillings, I think it's touched a 9 over the last 1 to 2 years, then you're actually getting a better return, and you should be buying more.
You should be buying more.
Okay, so 10%, we have it there. Do you have a price target for this counter?
We're looking forward to do an in-depth evaluation on that, but we just looked at a high level, just looking at even also market sentiment, and now also what's happening on their strategy.
I keep asking, what could go wrong? What could blow up with this counter if you're a holder of it?
I think the main risk is just the NIMs. They're still under pressure. That's
so the NIMs, these are the margins, the amount of money that they're able to get from lending money.
Yes.
All right.
So that's just where we are seeing a risk.
Okay.
Should the interest rate cap, be repealed, then it's also a plus for across all the banking.
If it will be, if ever. If ever. Okay, nice. There's an interesting name that you have here, East African Cables.
Yes.
Please enlighten us. What is happening here?
We did look at East Africa Cables.
Okay.
Recently, you saw the debt restructuring program that they just did. We feel that that's a plus for them. We tried looking at where East Africa Cables went wrong in the previous years, and mostly they were dealing with working capital constraints.
Okay.
The production level was quite low from their plant. It was, I think, between 30–40%
utilization of their capacity.
Level, yes. So now with more capital to just now add increase the production level, we felt that these are plus. Maybe just to
Elizabeth, hold on before you continue. So you're saying the issues, the historical issues is they were not able to produce. So is it there was no demand, or they did not have the capital to actually activate the demand in the market?
The main problem was the working capital constraints.
Please explain that. So they didn't have money to run their system, their manufacturing plant.
Because also now you're paying a lot in terms of the debt. If you look at the financials in the past years, they've not really been performing well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's the demand is also not there. Also, there's another look that you can view it is the competition. The competition. Also now competition from other manufacturing companies is also affecting them. So that was one thing that we saw the performance really not good in the past years.
All right.
But for a long term, maybe just to point out, we're looking these at a long term.
This is for a longer term.
A long term.
Is there a possibility of their? I mean, they do produce cables. Is that's their main product?
Yes.
And is there anything else that they produce?
No, they just do mostly cables.
Mostly cables.
Yeah,
who's the main buyer of what they produce?
Constructions going around, companies, and the fact that for East Africa Cables they do the large copper compared to the other companies that are doing more of retail.
What is large copper used for?
Mostly, I would say companies say you're building a large commercial flat or something.
So you would need
the copper plant, the copper fibers.
And this one you would need a unique kind of copper that they can either they can produce or somebody can actually buy from outside of the country and import it.
I would say mostly on a large scale. Yeah, roads. Say we're building roads here. We're expanding, like say SGR. They'll need that.
They'll need that. Yeah. You're really whetting my appetite with this one, because I'm wondering, we have the big four agenda, affordable housing. That's one element. And then we are still ongoing with our infrastructure spending. So there's the roads, there's the possibility of building a pipeline for the new refinery.
So now that's where now these the power cables actually go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I suppose then that's something to look out for. And you're saying actually what is interesting about this particular counter is now they finally restructured their debt, which allows them a bit more room with regards to cash flows to tap into the opportunity by producing locally. Because before they were unable to produce, they didn't have the cash to run their manufacturing plants. Wow. Fantastic overview of what is happening. Liz, we've come to the end of your top picks. So you're telling us there's opportunity to make money, be selective, either go defensive and look for a dividend return, or look for companies that are coming out of the doldrums at this point in time. Is there anything else that we have not captured with regards to the NSE at this point in time?
No, I think we've covered a bit what 90%. The other 10% is just now more looking out because the market is offering very good returns. If you now just look at where you can put your money in select companies, because there are companies that really have a nice strategy to look at.
Yes.
And a sharp investor is looking at, for example, companies that have a good strategy in the next 2-3 years, you'll be able to make a return. Okay. Short term and also long term.
And the long term. Yes. This is a fantastic report. Thank you very much for sharing your highlights. That was Elizabeth Wangechi. She is the head of research at NIC Capital. You've had it. If nothing else, we are always told that Kenya is a country that consumes a lot of alcohol, talks about a lot of politics, and is not as productive as it should be. Just to be able to turn this narrative, our challenge to you is this. If you have any touch points with some of these counters, if you drink over the weekend, there's no reason why you don't have an EABL share. If you actually talk on your phone and you have Safaricom, there's no reason why you don't have Safaricom shares, because you're either paid for M-Pesa services, you're either fully Zine, as we would typically say, or you're also paying for data, either on your phone or at home. There's no reason not to have it. Again, if you're using financial services, are you banking with KCB? Are you banking with Cooperative Bank? We've had those as top picks. They are giving a very good dividend yield, 8 to 10%. If any of these are your banks, you don't have a reason why you're only expecting spending and paying for expenditure and not investing and earning and keeping some of the money that you spent. So you have it there, our top picks. There's Safaricom, we have KCB, we have Barclays Bank, we have Cooperative Bank, we have we have Barclays Bank as well, and a very interesting one that has actually come through our radar, East African Cables, on the back of restructuring. Thank you once again for joining us today. We look forward to hosting you again at 2:30. We are streaming live on our Metropole page, but we want you to do something even more. Engage with us. Tell us, are you going to be buying any of these stocks, and what more information do you need to make that investment decision? Thank you once again, and good afternoon.